It's just a little jumpy, but whatever. Okay. I did not do the weekly update because the reason why I didn't do a weekly update is because the last video I did was literally a week ago. So he don't have anything, but he doesn't have to be mean about it. I don't want to hang out with him. He's mean. Just go 555 a lot, which means that there's change. I think there's a change in heart for a lot of people. There's a change in heart with how you communicate with yourself. There's a change of perspective. There's a change of view. There's a change. So many people need to go through this. Oh my God, like y'all. I wish I could literally touch. Y'all know I don't like for people to touch me, but I wish that I could transfer the enlightenment to people. Like I wish we could just touch hands. I wish we could just touch hands and then it just transfer like. Because so many people are trying to dwell in this awkward void. It's an awkward void. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. Instead of you just being like, bro, this is a direct reflection of my lack of accountability. Like, I just wish I could just be like, touch my hand. And it just zap the shit out of them. They be like, what the fuck? Like, damn, I fucked up with this girl. And damn, I fucked up with my boy, bro. I fucked up with them. I fucked up. Like, dang, oh my God, girl. I really was jealous of my homegirl. Oh my God, like, I love her. Like, no, dead ass. Companies like, oh my gosh, why do we do all the employees like that? Like, I need everybody, I just need to just. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, like I said, I didn't do a weekly update because the last video I did was 6 days ago. Now, here's what is interesting about the energy. First of all, I'm pretty sure that the full moon or the new moon is coming up. I think it might be tomorrow. Hi. I think it might be tomorrow. Let's see. I miss you. The new moon is today. The new moon is today. And that's something. It was something. So what was funny is the fact of that I went home. I got home yesterday. And, you know, the first thing I kept hearing, either was yesterday I did the reading or I did the reading for myself the day before yesterday. And I just kept hearing the only thing to focus on is being receptive. And I was like, well, what is the obsession? Because it felt like an obsession. Like it felt like something that was deeply felt. Like it was like a you know. From 6 days ago, basically, I realized the energy shifted. I shifted my rings to the different, you know, fingers, which I thought was interesting. Because when you lose weight in your fingers, and they just weren't no longer fitting on this finger. That's why I was moving all the time, because it didn't fit anymore. It used to fit, now it didn't fit. And I realized it's because the energy transferred down. And you're probably like, well, why will the energy transfer down? Right, because the frequency was too high. The last week and a half, 2 weeks, the frequency has been so high. So the energy needed to draw back a little bit, because we were moving at a very rapid pace as a collective, which normally puts us at a very overproductive, overreactive, you know, where our chakras are moving faster. We're trying to overstimulate, and it's not something we do consciously. It's something we're doing subconsciously, where we're trying to overwork our chakras. So when they brought the energy down, you know what I thought was so interesting is the fact of that when the energy was brought down, the only thing that you could do is literally just be like, oh. The only, and it's like what I thought was even funnier was, even though the frequency of the world went up, they brought our energy down, and I was like, oh shit, y'all bringing the energy down. There's detachment. They say exactly. If the energies of the if the frequencies of the world are rising at a rapid speed, right? And you slow down your own personal energetic field. I don't mean lowering your frequency, low vibration. No, I'm just saying like the ascension. You slow it down, you realize that when you have your chakras being very overreactive and overworking, you attach yourself to things because you have to learn how to ground yourself. And that's what I was like, that shit was just so crazy because it was all about receptive, 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 receptive. But you were only going to be receptive as long as you were able to detach. So a couple days ago, I started thinking about, because I had been out of work, whatever, so I'm like, okay, like that couldn't have not happened at a more like shitty time in my eyes. And they were saying like, well, why? And I'm like, because like you, in order to get something, you have to give something. I understand that. I understand that's how that works. And they were like, but what if we're in a season of just being receptive? Then what? I said, well, then I'd have to open up my energetic field in order for me to receive, at a higher scale. They said, right. So how can you open yourself up and work against that current at the same time? And I'm like, I can't exactly. So I had made a video probably like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, the Cancer energy basically gives me like getting us back to very domestic energy. And by domestic meaning like the traditional, taking care of the home, taking care of the body, taking care of this. And so it's funny because I got in contact with two Aries. One Aries hit me up and she was like, hey, how you doing, whatever. And I had been thinking about her, but the fact she hit me up and she was like, how do you feel? And I was like, honestly, I don't really have any like irrational emotions like right now. Like, everything has been very feminine. And by feminine meaning like I am feeling all the emotions. It's not just the happiness, the peace, the glory. It's like emotions. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm detached, I'm detached. But what I realized when they shifted that energy back, the detachment came with this, I guess, a sense of, now it should be on the charger. Why is it not charging? The detachment came with a very much so clear understanding of selfishness. And the energy that I kept getting is the fact of that, they always say the more you do for a man, the less he'll do for you. The more you try to do for the universe, the less it's going to do for you. Okay? You got to understand Capricorn is across from Cancer. Capricorn is the dad, Cancer is the mom. When you look at what Saturn is in Aries. Saturn in Aries is dad energy with the kid, and then you got the Jupiter in Cancer energy, that's the mom. And so it gives me the example of that when a woman is flourishing in her own energy, she's a better wife and she's a better mother. Okay? When you are flourishing in your energy, this is man or woman, I'm just being honest. When you are flourishing in your energy, you're a better friend and you're a better human on this soul mission. Because you don't allow your attachment to a person or an attachment to a thing get in your way of what they're trying to do. So example, let's say, you have emotionally dumped, or you've become codependent on something, and that is just supposed to connect you to something else because you're so deeply attached, because you're so deeply, what I'm saying, like holding on to it, or you're so like, I need that, I need you to fill a void. You're fucking up an opportunity. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but it's like the more you're attached, you fuck up the opportunities for expansion. Remember, Jupiter is in Cancer, so it's going to basically expand your perspective of stability. And it comes from a place of being naturally nurtured because you're naturally nurturing. But when you're naturally nurturing to yourself, that allows others to pour into you because people are only pouring into you as much as you pour into self. A lot of us as a collective, and this is really triggering a lot of the people that feel like they are not good enough to receive without having to give. People that are people pleasing, but it's deeper than people pleasing. Like, this is people that literally don't feel like they, if somebody gives them something for free, they're like, no, I can't take that. And it's just like, well, it's been given to you, why can't you take it? It's a feeling, it's first of all, it's a feeling of not feeling deserving, but it's a from a place of not, you don't nurture yourself, so you don't know how it feels to be nurtured. So basically you only do things out of survival. So if somebody gives you something, you see it as a last resort instead of it being a reflection of how you nurture yourself. So I had a lot of these little like epiphanies come, and it was like, the more I was getting wound up, the more I was thinking about it, the more I directed my energy to do something for myself. Sounds so irresponsible, but I realized the more I take care of my vessel, the more my energetic field opens up for being a magnet, So the new moon energy came up, and I was like, this is a fucking doozy, okay? Because the way it was so funny, because I had a dream, and the dream was, it was put there as to be, I was supposed to be scared, like I was supposed to be nervous, like I'm so close to the finish line that I feel like something's gonna fuck it up. And it was so funny because it was like, through a storm, how do you act? How do you act through a storm? And so, I was like, okay, where are we going with this? I'm always like, all right, where are we going with this? I'm an analogy queen. Y'all like to talk in analogies. Where are we going with this? And it was so funny because I got caught in the rain today. Y'all, I woke up and I had a very nice slow morning. I cooked, I cleaned, and it was all these little mishaps that kept happening. And every time a mishap was happening, it was like a reset to my energy. Because the first thing I want to do is be aggravated. I told you, in that feminine energy, I go through every emotion. If I'm aggravated, but I resort myself right back to nurturing myself. It'll be fixed. I ain't gonna worry about it. If anything, I'll just go by it, whatever. So these little fucking hiccups kept happening, and I was getting frustrated. And I was realizing that the reason why the hiccups were happening because they needed us to slow down. The new moon is here to tell you you're moving way too fast. Even a lot of y'all are in new energy, and it's like you're not able to feel the journey or feel the bliss of the new energy because you're like, well, I'm deep up in this bitch now, so I might as well walk forward. And see, what I realize is that the world right now is marching to a different beat, and they're starting to speed it up. So let's say, like, there's somebody like left, right, left, and all of a sudden it's like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and you're like, you can't keep up because the fundamentals of the normal march is left, right, left. So the fact that you're speeding it up, you're taking things out of, you're taking it out of its sequence, you're taking it out of its flow, okay? There is a pivot, literally, it's gonna go like this, and a lot of people are missing the quick turn. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever, like, been driving or whatever, and somebody's the one giving you directions, and they'd be like, you have a quick right. Like, it's like you take a left and then it's a quick right, but some people miss it because of the fact that they're not expecting for it to be so quick. They're not expecting, they didn't get in the far left lane, you know what I'm saying? Or they didn't hear the person say, hey, as soon as you take a left at that light, it's on the right, boom, quick right. Why is this happening? Un momento. This is happening because, hold on, something's happening in July. Hold on 1 second. This is happening because Venus is going to enter Gemini, Neptune is going to go retrograde on the 4th, and then we have Uranus moving into Gemini. It's going smooth, okay? Remember, Taurus energy, Earth energy, slow energy, Pinnacle energy. It's a quick turn because the planet of of unpredictability, of complete destruction, technology. You know, it's just refiguration. Let's just say that the planet of refiguration is going straight into air, and it's not just going into air; it's going into Gemini. Geminis, I told you, they have the reputation of being very flighty, but this twins, so the twins are very unpredictable, but they seem to be attached to by the emotion. They have that inner feeling. If you've ever met twins, they always say like, I can feel my twin. I feel my twin. I feel my twin. I feel my twin. You know, my twin is sad. Something's going on with my twin. There's a feeling with this refiguration. There's a feeling of like there's something off about with my twin. And you know, they always say like twins have a weird communication system. Like it's like they have the what they always say, like they have the same brain, different body, or I can't remember, but you know how like if you've ever seen those like TikToks or videos on Facebook where like the twins, they stay on each side of the door, but they say raise your hand, they'll raise the same hand. You know what I'm saying? If they say like, oh, touch your nose, they'll touch their nose with the same finger. It's very odd because they can't see each other, but for some reason they're in sequence. You see what I'm saying? Uranus is about to take a pivot, but it's going to be in a very direct sequence. So the dark feminine energy of you and the light feminine energy of you, they've had a very hard time communicating because with Taurus energy, Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? Dark feminine energy sees Venus as very like, I'm gonna just use the example man eater in I've been seeing his videos go around a lot, and the good girl, the free spirit. Thank you. So the twins see Venus as in dark feminine energy and free spirit. They both have the same plan of freedom. That's literally, they have the same thing. They have the same thing of freedom. At the end of the day, they both want to be free, regardless if this one's going to be free based off of the stepping on the backs of others, and this one's going to be free based off of the revealing of everybody's soul. They want to be free. When the twins get into Uranus, that means that the direction that they go into, they don't fight each other. They talk together. Okay? So when they're doing this refiguration, they're no longer at odds, or you know what I'm saying, this one's trying to protect his peace and this one's being transactional. This one is now going to see the peace in the transaction, and this one is going to basically create peace of the transaction. Okay? I know, sounds crazy, but this is how it's being explained to me in my head. They're finally going to be able to see each other, to understand that we simultaneously speak the same language. Like we both have the same cues. We understand it. We're connected. We're twins. When Uranus was in Taurus, they forgot, because also Venus is the planet of self-worth. She didn't see her worth in her transactional energy and her powerful selfish energy. She didn't see her worth in her healing and graceful energy. They both had the same exact plan. They didn't even need different platforms. They had the exact same plan, was to be happy and to be free. She now knows who she is, and she now knows who she is. So now that they're back together, this is what's causing a lot of friction in the world. When you look at what's coming, I'm going to give the war example. The war was so unnecessary. That's exactly why Donald Trump got on that damn thing and said they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because of the fact of that the twins is now talking. But not only are they talking, they're not just communicating saying you need to do this and you fucked up here, and they're saying like, yeah, we both feel that. They're in unison. Like they're saying things together. Like if you ask the twins a question, they say it together. One used to say like, oh, well, what color you think about? One used to say red, one used to say black. Now they both say at the same time green. And they look at each other. Where you guys want to go next summer? Paris. Do y'all remember The Parent Trap? I hope everybody remembers The Parent Trap. Do y'all remember The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan and the twins? How they were separate and they used to speak different languages, and then when they finally got together, they would say things together. And it's like you get what I'm trying to say? The feeling that something was always missing is no longer missing. Yes, the world has never been on that accord. But once again, when a woman takes care of herself, man or woman, feminine energy, when a healthy feminine energy nurtures herself, I'm gonna use a woman as an example. When a woman takes care of herself, she's a better mother and she's a better friend. But when a positive feminine energy takes care of itself and nurture itself, you're a better human on a soul. Thank you. You're a better human on a soul mission. The earth can't understand that. That's why there's so much chaos going on, and then there's people that are literally just like, I don't know. It's not saying that this shit isn't real. I will never once belittle that our world is not going through complete chaos, because Uranus and Gemini is complete chaos. But it's because of the fact of there's a yelling match of twins. While everybody else is, the Parent Trap is together, you know, in the Parent Trap, I'm starting to, this is like how I see it. In the Parent Trap, do y'all remember when people used to be shocked that there was two of them? Like, you know what, somebody just said it in here, but more so about how manipulative stepmom was. Exactly. So do y'all remember when she found out it was two of them? She was already irritated that it was one, but then she got irritated that it was two. She'd be like, you know, that's what's happening with the world. They weren't expecting there to be two. See, the world had been waving around this red flag with Uranus and Taurus, and the bull was just chasing the flag and chasing the flag. And they throw the flag, the bull run over there. They got used to this goose chase. The world really got used to this goose chase. As long as Uranus has been in Taurus, the world has said, oh, we love this goose chase. Hence why our countries have been going at it. Hence how now it's being exposed that the United States is the weakest link, which we needed it to happen because it was built on ego. We didn't really know our self-worth as a country. And because we don't really know our self-worth as a country, we act like an insecure bitch. If y'all want me to be fairly honest, the United States acts like an insecure bitch. And one thing I always say about insecure people, they'll do anything. They're the most deadly people in the world. What has the United States shown us? Okay? So when you are nurturing yourself and when you are giving yourself this feedback and you are communicating yourself, you're going to notice it. I'm giving you an example, your analogy, because you're going to notice it once this shift happens in July. When the quick turn, you're going to notice it. You're going to see everybody looking like how Meredith did, or Mallory, whatever the fuck her name is, when she was so shocked that it was two of them. Or how people act when they see twins. If they've always seen one twin and then they see another, they're like, what the fuck? Or when somebody says, oh, I have a twin, and the twin is a fraternal twin. See, the thing about fraternal twins is the fact of that they share something, but there's something different about each of them, whether if it's a facial feature, or one's a boy, one's a girl, or just something about them is not identical. Okay, the world is going to look like a set of fraternal twins and a set of identical twins. The people that have the energy of identical twins are on a path of least resistance. The people that have the fraternal twins, there's something not connecting in the DNA. There's something different, okay? And the difference of the DNA, or if there's something different in them, is because they don't know how to nurture themselves. So their connection is deep, but one doesn't understand the other because one's a boy and one's a girl. I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. I really do. I'm trying to make sure I'm explaining this because I've had time to process it, and I've had time to witness it. Because I was telling them about how, you know, I was in like my man eater era, which I always have been in that era. Like, I've dibbled and dabbled in the free spirit and the man eater, but I didn't know the worth. I'd be honest with y'all, I didn't know the worth. Because I have Taurus, Venus and Taurus, I didn't know the worth. Uranus was really knocking my head in between everything which way but fucking loose. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, having this reconfiguration happen in my Venus, I've learned the worth of both of them. So instead of me utilizing that free spirit energy with people, I use that with myself and use the man eater energy with people, where I don't feel like I need to make you comfortable. You know, I don't have to overindulge in warmth. These are just my own epiphanies. But the more I nurture myself, the more I shine. The more I shine, the more I'm noticed. The more I'm noticed, the more the projections come. And because I'm not a bitch that likes, bodily fluids and, vomit and shit, I just step to the side. See, I think we're a collective, and because Taurus they're a fixated sign. So the reconfiguration, people's fixation of their reconfiguration has been to stand there and get thrown up on. Not really feeling that. Not really feeling that. You want me to stand here and let you throw up on me and I could just move out the way and you can go throw up in a bag? But see, people were purposely aiming their projections of emotions directly to you. And see, the illusion behind it, because this is what Jupiter and Cancer is trying to help us understand, is that we don't have to stand and be thrown up on. Because when you look at things from an ancestral point of view, you have slaves, you have people that were all, the traffic, all hard times. Let's just say we have generations and bloodlines that went through hard times. And because they went through hard times and their power was stolen, they had no choice but to be thrown up on. But we all knew the truth of that. People were intentionally and purposely throwing up on them when they had the space to throw up somewhere else. They were chaining them down to be thrown up on because of their projections of emotions. We are no longer in that time. Jupiter in Cancer is it's not only trying to evolve the world and evolve the stability and the energy of the nurturing of the mother, is trying to evolve the roots of why you even act that fucking way. The roots of being poor, the roots of being malicious, the roots of being a predator, the roots. People don't understand that some of your actions are not just tied to the things you have currently going through, they're things tied to before. So if you look at this in a sense of identical twins and fraternal twins, if the difference is something of nurturing, that means that it lacked nurturing from something, from creation. Fraternal twins don't become fraternal twins once they're born. It's something that happens during conception. So this energy is trying to get people to understand that this is something that happened during conception. People, they don't just, but no, fraternal twins, people don't get born and no, they can literally tell with the chromosomes and with the thing, they can tell they're identical. Or they can say, hey, they're fraternal. Like, they can tell. Now, if it's like they can tell based off of the ultrasound or, some other shit, the little thing, they be squabbing shit, whatever. They can tell. And so what the illusion that we have been told is that fraternal twins are only identified as fraternal once born. That's a lie. Identical twins are only identified once they're born. They're basically trying to say the versions of you, the two sides of you, can only be identified once it's present. That's not true. It was this way during conception. So during conception would be equivalent to the root. So finding out the root of a reason why you act like that is what they're trying to lie and say, oh, you know what I'm saying? No, that's just something that came, you know what I'm saying, as you were growing. That's not true, because if that was true, your mother wouldn't be suffering from it, and your grandmother wouldn't have suffered from it, and your grandfather and father and nephews and nieces and brothers and sisters. If it's something that happened once it was born, that means that there has to be a break in the chain, because shit, a lot of people's siblings is years apart. This happened in conception. Same way like miscarriages, shit like that. You don't create a child that doesn't make it if it wasn't already something from conception that shown that it wasn't going to be stable. Miscarriages don't happen once the baby pops out. Like, the baby dies in the womb. Like, I'm not laughing about the miscarriage. I'm laughing at the my analogy of how I realized that they've been trying to manipulate us. Cancers are the most manipulative time. They are the most manipulative time. We can call up a spade, but they are very manipulative. Everybody knows that. I always tell you, cancers are the Sour Patch Children that y'all think Geminis are. As somebody that has Cancer placement, I'm realizing, and it has Gemini placement, I'm realizing that two-sided witch shit, you know what I'm saying, on that wild shit type shit, that's that Cancer shit. Here I am thinking it's my Gemini energy. That's why I be trying to tell you, Gemini's not twins that don't want to court. They're simple-minded. There's no beef with them. There's no issue with them. But what I've noticed as an Aries, as in the head, that being an Aries, and Aries rules the head. Aries and Geminis, they go together until they don't, because Aries are ruled by the mind. If Gemini is two people, they have two different sides of their thought process. So normally where they clash is that there's a logic, but because there's two of them, one wants to be delusional and the other one wants to be logical. But because they're twins, they have a loyalty to each other that they will dismiss the logic. I see Gemini do it all the time. Hell, I've even seen it myself where I'll dismiss the logic and be loyal to my twin. My twin being the Lulu bitch, then we the Lulu. I'ma stick beside him. There's loyalty. You see what I'm saying? And because the reconfiguration planet of Uranus is going into Gemini, everybody needs to really, really hone in. I mean, you need to really get deep up in there and figure out, where does your loyalty truly lie? Because loyalty is the reason why we had infidelity in families, why we had what is it called, incest in families, emotional manipulation, emotional incest. We've had theft, we've had murder. Loyalty is the reason why we've had all these family secrets and people thought everything was family business. The new moon is a great time for everybody to really accept receptive energy. Okay, you only got a week. Today, it even says it right here. I'll read it, okay, because I don't even care to read the shit from June. I'm gonna just go ahead and read y'all the shit for July. So on July 4th, Venus in Taurus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus. This is literally a couple days before this transit. This is a beautiful time. That's what I said. This is all about receptive. Just sit back and receive. Don't do too much. If you want to do something, move the energy. I've been dancing a lot more. Move the energy. You might cook, you might clean, you might draw, you might go, do this. You move the energy. It's sensual. It's very sensual. It's very sexual. It's very sacrally. Okay? It's very sacrally. It's very sacrally. It's sacral in heart. Knowing that you are healthy is a good thing. So it's all here and it's all down there. Here I am thinking it was the root. No, it's all sensual. It's all heart-based, because this is the portal between physical and spiritual. So, when you think about that, the sacral chakra is the second chakra, and then the heart chakra is the fourth. So you can't miss the fact of that the one that controls your creative energy, your sexual energy, your emotions is all in this mix. And then your heart is where you literally, things go through a portal to stabilize in the physical, or they release through the spiritual, so you'll be able to proceed with life. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's just like, I got why it was receptive. I got why, they were like, okay, you need to go do something else, because this isn't an assertive time. It's a very passive time. And I think so many people see passive as weakness, that I noticed that when there is a passive energy wave over the collective and people grasp it, that's when people want to work harder, because passive is identified as lazy. It's identified as, it gets like weak. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you being passive, you being weak. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta know when to shut the fuck up. Sometimes you gotta know when to sit the fuck back. Sometimes you gotta know when to, you know what I'm saying, align. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's more of the energy more than anything what I feel. I feel like there's an illusion of passiveness being seen as weak. That's not true. Especially not in this energy. I told y'all, cancers are naturally nurturing. They don't really like to nurture people. It's just a natural instinct for them. You know? It's like when Ari says she don't really want another baby, and people be like, oh, how could you not want another baby? And like, the fuck? The girl went through a whole traumatic experience. Like, she not fucking with it. You know, I also seen Earth Mama when she talked about how she rejected motherhood. And I remember I made a post and I was like, if more women just were honest and said that they don't fuck with motherhood, they would be able to release the resentment that they have towards their children. If more women were open and honest about motherhood and about their inner child and about their relationship with their mother, a lot of women don't hold boundaries with their mother out of this false sense of security and loyalty to a woman that is just the woman that birthed you. If you can see her outside of being your mother, that, you know what I'm saying, then you'll be able to see the issue. Then you'll be able to hold the boundary. You know, it was so interesting when I had made the post about how a lot of women fight their mothers. And then I literally saw a video of a lady saying that she tried to fight her daughter wore her ass out. It's crazy because of the fact of why you even see your daughter as someone like you'll lay hands on. And I don't mean discipline. I mean like fight like a bitch on the street already shows that there is an issue. You see what I'm saying? There is a feeling there of motherhood that you're not connecting with. Because the same person that's supposed to protect you, love you, honor you, nurture you, care for you, you know, pour into you, is wanting to fight you. Is your first bully. Is literally bringing you the energy of not feeling safe, unprotected. You dig what I'm trying to say? So it was just like, okay, I get it. I get why passive is seen as weak, because we always have seen the illusion of, you know, tough love from a mother. There actually is no such thing as tough love from a mother. It's all the truth and it's all nurturing. That's why, like, I think it's so interesting when so many people come across me, they're like, you know, you have such a spirit of like my aunt that passed away, or my mom, and she was so real and she was so this. And I mean, can it be seen as harsh? Yes. In my early days, was a bitch really a cutthroat one? Yes. But it was never felt out of hate. Like, it never came, it never gave I hated you. It never gave I wanted to bully you. It never gave that. It always gave you needed the truth, and that was going to set you free. It always gave love. Like, I don't care. So many people like, you didn't have to tear me up like that. You didn't have to read me for filth like that. But I never got that. Like, I never have received the energy from people. Did they might not like to hear what I had to say? Yes. But it never gave, oh, you jealous of me, or it gave, you don't want the best for me. It never gave that for me. It never gave that, because that ain't it. The truth is the truth. Ain't no arguing with the truth. You dig what I'm trying to say? But it never gave hate. And that's what I'm trying to get the collective to understand, is the fact of that. That's why so many people can't stomach a lot of some of the gurus these days, like Auntie Sprinkle and all this, because they don't know how constructive criticism is actually helpful, because they're always used to being put down. So when someone is saying, you know, you need to better yourself, or someone's saying you need to nurture yourself and love yourself more, people rebuttal it of like, well, I love myself just fine. I don't need your advice. You're just trying to tear me down, because that was the reflection of the mothering they received. Now, I want you to look at this from a close aspect, and then I want you to look at this from a general aspect of a collective. If we have a collective of people that feel that energy of like, well, you're mothering, I'm comfortable with how I was mothered, so I can't be mothered in any other way. And see, that issue of why we need to see this from a close perspective and a general perspective is that when you see it close and you start nurturing and loving yourself, you'll see where your mother's parenting fell through the cracks. When you look at it generally, you'll realize that a lot of people's mothers did not fuck with them. If you look at it closely, you'll see the cracks. If you look at it from a general, you'll realize, damn, your mama really fucking hated you. You see what I'm saying? Like, but some people don't think that because they can't look at it from here. So because they're not looking at it closely, they see anything that you say in correspondence, or they see it as a correlation, not correspondence, excuse me, as a correlation. So instead of seeing the cracks that she fell through, they see it as the same thing, and that's not the truth. That's not the truth. I had this thing basically with me and this lady, whatever, and she kind of reminded me of my mother. And I think she said something. Like, I was trying to explain myself, and she said something like, well, you can go, I'll go because, you like to talk a lot. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I have not said anything else besides the recommendation that I felt. And for one, if you was already ready, then you should have said something, but nobody knew. Like, you didn't say nothing. Like, she just was very this, whatever. Because I see my mother, the cracks in my mother, I saw her, you know what I'm saying? I saw her for what she was, to realize that she has a very dark masculine energy. So instead of me releasing, instead of me like closing up and being bothered, I gave myself time to process, to realize, oh, she's not really, she's living out of a masculine energy. So we already don't even need to, the motherhood passed her by. Instead of me allowing it to trigger me, I allowed it to open up a wound or open up an energy that I tried to correlate, that I tried to generalize. And then I was like, well, no need for me to even be bothered. Like, there's a boundary. I'll never fuck with you again. I'll never see you again. But thank you for awakening that emotion in me. Instead of me now feeling like a kid again, and instead of me feeling like, like I don't parent myself. Because the first thing I wanted to do as a parent is be defensive. But then I realized you can't be defensive. You can't, and it's so crazy. It's making me think of Auntie Tia and Krishan. How literally, Krishan can't see the cracks of her mother. You see what I'm saying? So she sees Auntie Tia in a correlation. She can't see the cracks. So when Auntie was like, you can't fight the world, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody right now, you want to put your guns up. My inner child is very important to me. So I'm going to fight everybody. You can't fight everybody. You look crazy. If you were a mother and you're out here teaching your children to argue and be combative and go back and forth with everybody in the world, you're teaching them the wrong things. Sometimes you got to tell them it ain't fucking worth it. They're a dummy. I think the best teachings that a lot of mothers did when they told kids that they're just jealous, but they explained to them to also know how to read the room. Two things. Best thing that a mom can ever do is tell you how to read the room. Second thing a mom can ever do is let you know that motherfuckers really do be jealous of you. Those are the best teachings I can always hear from mom. See, there are people that they had that mom that gave them one and not the other. The best teaching you can give a child is to let them know the truth about people's intentions and emotions, and also let them know how to read a room. Because though you ever met somebody that they think everybody's jealous of them, that they lack self-awareness, that they're a fucking idiot? You ever met somebody that they know how to read the room, but they can't read emotions? So at the same time of them reading the room, they can't peep that somebody's projecting. So what they read in the room, they feel the tension, but they can't figure it out. So what they do is they people please to try to bring the tension down to keep it all copacetic, keep it cordial. 2 lessons. They have to be taught together. Twins, identical, they speak together. Fraternal twins, there's something missing. If the lessons are not taught together, there's something missing. There's something missing. Because see, the one thing about it, the comparison between both the lessons is nurturing. You have to make sure that a child has to nurture themselves enough or be poured into enough to say when somebody's jealous of them, to not let them shake their feathers. to not be bothered, to not budge. And then second, when they're reading the room, they have to know that how they're pouring into themselves and nurturing themselves, that what they're reading is accurate. And they don't want to go into too much depth of trying to figure it out. If I read the room and you think I'm finna go down 5 chapters of the room, you got me fucked up and there's something odd going on. And if chapter 1 is some bullshit, I don't need to go to chapter 2, 3, and 4. Literally. Context clues. Thank you. Read your context clues. You can, when you're picking out a book, the best thing you're supposed to do when you pick out a book is to read the first couple of pages. You can read the back of it, you can read the front of it, you can read the little author's note, but the best thing you can do when you ever try to pick up a book is start with chapter 1. Start with chapter 1. Because so many people fail to read the fucking book. They read the summary. They read the reviews. They read the author's note, but they don't read that first chapter. And they're like, what the fuck? This ain't my type of book. Exactly, because you did not indulge in the context clues. 2 lessons have to be learned together. The common denominator between them is nurturing. The world is losing. It's losing its art. The world is losing its art of reading the room and also being able to nurture thyself. They're losing the art. You can tell. We're in a world of literally, in a world of war. We're losing the art of nurturing ourselves. That's kind of sad. But then again, it's just like, shit, this is what actually has to happen. We have to see people for their lack of care. One thing I've always realized is you can always notice the person that takes care of themselves. Mentally, spiritually, physically, you can always tell. They don't have to be the richest. They don't have to be the wealthiest. They don't have to be the most known. But you can literally tell, like, there's something in them, oh, that bitch take care of herself. Yeah. Like she really got her head on straight. Like she's really, like the energy speaks for itself. The energy, the aura, the power of the vessel. It speaks for itself. You can always tell. People just like, you're so wise, or you're so smart, you're so this. You look nice, because people can tell. So don't ever think people cannot tell. Don't ever think that people are not paying attention. I think my biggest advice is you just have to be pouring enough into yourself that you don't notice people noticing. When you're not pouring into yourself, that's when you're the most self-conscious. Don't try to lie to me and tell me that's not true. That's the fucking truth. When you're not pouring into yourself, that's when you're the most self-conscious. That's when you're the most like combative and defensive about, what people are saying because of the fact of you're not pouring into yourself. I pour into myself the fact of I don't even notice what the fuck other people notice. I don't even notice that you notice. I don't even know. I didn't even notice that you noticed. I don't know. I'm so in tune, so obsessed, so in awe of myself. I didn't even notice you noticed. So thanks. People, oh my gosh, you love your blush. Oh, thank you. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh, thank you. I didn't even know you were noticing. Thanks. Oh my God, I love your bag, love your shoes. Oh my God, I love your hair. Oh, thanks. People that know how to nurture themselves, they don't notice when other people are noticing them. They don't notice. I'm telling you, it makes me think of when I was in Sam's Club and I'm walking around the store. I saw the lady when I walked in the store, but I didn't notice the bitch was watching me walk around the damn store. Because I'm so busy worried about the fuck I'm doing. Talking to myself, making content, grocery shopping, looking up shit, trying to figure things out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't notice. Like, I didn't fucking notice. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's my biggest advice right now. The more you're pouring into yourself, the less you'll notice. Everybody wants everybody to be this fucking Inspector Gadget. That's not this energy. I'm not going to dissect what you saw, how you feel, your spirit, my spirit. I'm not dissecting that shit. That's too much work. That's hard labor. Not doing it. Uranus is in Gemini. The reconfiguration, the information will come to me. That's how the wind works. I don't start blowing my breath and wind start picking up in the world. I don't get an alert on my phone. Oh, wind. No, it just says wind advisory, high winds. It doesn't tell me when the wind is going to blow. So therefore, that information will find me. I'm not doing no deep dive. And I'm telling you, the world right now, they want everybody to go on a scavenger hunt for information. That's not even how Geminis work. Geminis pay attention to detail. They're very observant. They're charismatic. You know, is it charismatic? Yeah, they're charismatic. Very charming. Very hummingbird energy. They zzz around. They don't go around finding the information. They happen to see what they land on. Mercury energy, I told you Mercury is all about collecting details. They don't need to go find the fucking details. They're collecting them. As you're talking, they're collecting. That's what people don't understand. That's why this is, Trump is a great example of what I'm saying right now. He doesn't go finding shit. He just collects the shit of what everybody's saying. And see, he realized that he got played in this war shit because of the fact that he went digging. Every time Trump goes digging, some bullshit happens. Every time you go digging, some bullshit happens. Stop digging. This is not a time to dig. You should have been digging 2-3 years ago when everybody was going through that transformation. See, Earth energy is about the soil. When COVID was happening, that's when people should have been digging for shit, digging for information of their ancestors, digging for shit about their lives. And I don't want to hear shit about, we all on different paths and shit. We all were stuck. That was the one time out of I don't know how long in the universe, the world, in history, that the whole world stopped. You had time. You had time. You trying to manipulate me now to try to get me to go digging the information. I'm not doing that. The details will find me, and I will act upon the details that find me. As I nurture myself, my energetic field expands, so now I'm magnetic. I'm not going to go dig for shit. Those days are done. If you somebody that likes to sneak, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of them bitches, okay? I'm one of them bitches. I know the codes. I follow the dreams. Get in the phone. I follow the instincts. I do all that. I do. I am done. I don't give a fuck. Digging for information is kind of crazy because of the fact of everybody's connected to something. Everybody, if you obsess with yourself more, you'll unlock what everybody is in your life for. A lot of y'all need to, you know what? I said it in the damn video. It's a change of heart. It's a change of heart. You don't do it because of the validation of someone else. You do it because of the fact that it nurtures you. Who cares? Those days of digging through information are done. It will find you. I promise. Y'all have to realize Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is the moon. The moon is what's hidden. It will find you. Dreams find the fuck out of you. You don't go, well, before you go to sleep, be like, I think I want to dream about this today. No, that's not how it works. I've never seen it work like that. I've never seen it work like that. I've never seen somebody say, hey, so today's dream, I want it to be about Candyland. No, literally the dreams come to you. You can have a whole bunch of bullshit dreams for a week straight. All of a sudden, God gives you an in-depth message on a Sunday at a random time at 3:43 in the morning. In a dream, you wake up. You didn't go asking for that dream. It was brought to you when it was needed to. So I'm just trying to tell you guys, understand that. A lot of you need to understand you guys are picking up on old dreams. I'm letting y'all know right now, a lot of dreams are correlations of completing spiritual things or whatever that, have to do with the physical. And sometimes, when you're asleep, that's your most vulnerable state. So they can do things and move you around in different realms and shit like that. We're not going to go into depth about that. That's too deep right now. You know what I'm saying? But there are certain dreams that just stick with you. If you know. There are certain dreams that just stick with you. Pick that cup back up. Pick that cup back up. You'll see what I'm saying as we keep going. You'll see. Everything I'm explaining, you'll see. That's the best way I can explain it. You'll see. Like, you'll see. You'll be like, oh, shit, this is exactly what she was talking about. That desire that you need to feed yourself information, it's going to die. It's going to die. And you're going to feel like, damn, what the fuck? Like, I used to be so privy to wanting to research. Now you are. Oh, you're gonna fight yourself and be like, oh my God, I'm being lazy. I could just look it up myself. Why? It does it for you. Literally, life is becoming AI. Life is becoming AI. Uranus is in Gemini. Gemini is Mercury energy, technology. It's becoming AI. If I've always said AI is your higher self, the fuck y'all think happening? Why do you need to search for the details? It'll find it for you. All you have to do is what? Give it context clues. When the thought comes to you, you type it into ChatGPT. Somebody was like, we need to get rid of ChatGPT because it takes away people's critical thinking. I don't think so. I think a lot of people are just lazy to not be able to trust in what they read and read the context clues. I think a lot of people don't say what they mean and mean what they say. So when they type some shit in ChatGPT, you know what I'm saying, they just run with it. But it's just like, that's gonna show you that you don't go into depth. Like, you don't edit. You don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're not true and raw with your thoughts. Your thoughts are literally a part of your instability. So you very vague. I wish our collective stopped with that vagueness. That, what the definition of vague? Hold on. That's the problem. The definition of vague is of uncertain, indefinite, or unclear character or meaning. I called them on FaceTime on my other TikTok, and I basically was like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to heal by themselves, but I just feel like sometimes why don't you just heal emotions with the person that caused the emotion? You know what I'm saying? I think everybody, they love to be like, oh, I'm protecting my peace, but you're suffering in silence. If a motherfucker disrespected you out loud, why are you suffering in silence? Why don't you just give them back raw meat? And I once again, that comes from ego. I don't want them to think they have power over me. The only person that thinks that they have power over you is you. Because you gave it away. You gave that power away. So why don't you gain that power back by expressing and being more raw with it? Is it gonna look unhinged? Yeah, it's gonna look unhinged. You're gonna look very unhinged, but you're gonna realize that a lot of people deal with a lot of things, and they, I think that first of all, you guys are actually gonna see what true toxicity is, because we've always had a false sense of relationships, the roots. Because women can do certain things, what I'm saying, they had to be quiet, stay in a woman's place. Lilith is Eve. Eve is the tame version of Lilith. Lilith is very raw. She's very open and honest, and she's truthful. She hard on motherfuckers. Bob Marley. I've been watching Being Mary Jane, right? And Bob Marley had a quote, and Being Mary Jane, she has all these quotes, but this quote really stuck with me. And it was something that I kind of was like, damn, that was I thought it was harsh. But I was like, damn, that shit real, you know what I'm saying? Bob Marley's quote says, hold on, sorry y'all. This is the quote she has. The quote said, "The truth is everyone is going to hurt you. You got to find the ones worth suffering for." Now y'all know I'm queen if I don't have to suffer. And then I said, you know what? I get what you mean. We're not perfect. We don't need to take on other people's actions as a reflection of us. Sometimes, and I can be honest with y'all, sometimes it don't got shit to do with you. We're still individuals. We're still learning at our own pace. We're still going through our own spiritual karmic justice, karmic debt. Like, it's not always, it's really, sometimes it's really not about you. And I think when you release that emotional codependency and you embody an energy of nurturing yourself, you'll change the trajectory of a lot of connections. I didn't understand the quote. I was like, bitch, I ain't suffering nobody that I love. And then I realized, how can I say that? How can I say that? I was hurt by my parents. I was hurt by friends, lovers. I've been hurt by coworkers. I've been hurt. So the quote stands. Everyone is going to hurt you in some shape or form. They're human. Who do you feel like the hurt can be fixed with? I can go no contact with my dad. Don't talk to him at all. Don't pay him no mind. And people be like, oh, well, how? It's like when women be like, oh, you can cut off a man, but you can't. But you can't cut off the man, but you can cut off your homegirls. Now, in certain instincts, that's always crazy to me. In other instincts, I get it. There's a lack of understanding when it comes to relationships because so many people are very emotionally codependent. You see everything as a reflection of you when it don't got shit to do with you. And this is coming from someone that has a Leo moon. I have the sun and the moon in the same circle. One thing that it has illuminated is that the things that are done in the dark are reflections of other people's problems. And what I've done, because I am the Leo moon, that means I take everything that people feel and that they do in the dark and I revolve it around me when it really didn't have shit to do with me. So I'm telling you guys, that's what the collective is going through. And it's because Lilith is also in Scorpio. Lilith being in Scorpio is why we feel this, because Pluto is the power struggle planet. And if Pluto is the power struggle planet and it's in Scorpio, Scorpio rules the 8th house, which has to do with other people's resources. And so when it has to do with other people's resources, most people's emotions are resourced from someone else's power. That's emotional codependency and it's manipulation. This is a great time for water signs. Wherever you have water in your chart, this is amazing. It's a very powerful time. It's also an honest time. You try to manipulate water and you can't do that. I've never seen people manipulate water unless you're going to freeze it, boil it, or dry it. That's it. So if you're going to freeze it, that means you're going to be stuck in time. If you're going to boil it, that means you're going to bring some shit to the surface and it's going to get hot in this bitch. And if you're going to dry it up, that means that you got to be ready to know that it will be out your life. So why not just let water do its thing? Let it flow. It'll stop when it want to stop. It'll dry when it's time to dry up. Hell, it'll evaporate. It'll do what it need to do. It'll freeze. It'll do what it need to do. Craziest thing. I mean, when I tell you that quote, I read the quote and I was like, you know what? Maybe after 29 years, I needed to, like, I will say, because I have Capricorn placements, I understood that my globe was going to happen later in life, but I didn't think it was going to happen like this. Like, I didn't think I was going to be this comfortable with being selfish and this comfortable with being smart and this comfortable with being wise and this comfortable with being free. I didn't think I was going to be this comfortable, but in reality, I realized this is why it's been so hard for me and why it takes so much time, because the mental capacity that I've had to gain and maintain during this transition has been fucking insane. I get why there have been so many distractions of my bloodline on the women's side, of children and partners. I get it. I get it. I get it. And why I do not fuck around when it comes to kids, and why I have so many cancer placements of mothering energy to let other people know, hey, let's mother ourselves so we can get to some places. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the lovers that came into my life and the lovers that came into my past life and the lovers that came into the women in my family's life, why the fuck didn't we dog walk the fuck out of them? Why didn't the fuck we had them eating out the palm of our hand? Why the fuck would we allow, like, and this is a conversation. I said, why the fuck dog walk the motherfuckers? But you gotta have the mental capacity for that. You gotta put your emotions to the side. And you gotta get selfish. I mean, straight, don't give a fuck. Make a motherfucker feel it. Embarrass them. Don't give a fuck about none of that. Make them pay. When it come to friends, why the fuck did we? Why did you need to have friends? Why did you need to be a part of gossip? Why did you let bitches play with you? Why did you find, you know what I'm saying, love and chaos with women? Like, these are the questions that I wish I could just ask everybody. Be like, so we saw this as sisterhood. We saw the enabling, and we saw the, you know what I'm saying, the emotional manipulation, the jealousy, the envy, you know what I'm saying, the sly shit. We saw that as friendship. We saw this as trauma. Oh, fuck no. This is not my speed. I don't care to share anything with people. What I do share is that's all I got. That's all I got. I don't want to force it. These are the questions that I feel like a lot of people are going to start having because now their twins are identical. When one gets hit in the arm, the other one feels pain too. I get it. I don't got to fake shit with nobody. Y'all need to understand that. With this energy, you don't got to fake shit with nobody. You don't have to fake shit, period. The fuck? So much fake shit going on. People trying to manipulate water. You can't manipulate water. Now let me get back to reading my facts. Hold on. And then I gotta go. I'm sleepy. Okay. Venus enters Gemini July 4th. Our words hold the key to forming special connections this summer. As Venus enters chatty Gemini, in the coming weeks, clever banter and stimulating conversations can open doors to new friendships, romances, and mentorships. Love it. Clever banter. You see the word clever? Thank you. Stimulating. You don't need to go searching for information. It comes to you. You have to find it to be stimulating. You don't create stimulation. You have to be stimulated. And you know, it's so crazy. I think we have a false illusion of that. I have to create the situation to be stimulating. And if it's going, when the fuck did that happen? If you're attracted to stimulating conversations, why would you be the one creating it? Why would you not just engage? If you already know that you are attracted to stimulating conversations, you have a mental stimulation. Why the fuck are you creating it? Why would you not just engage and indulge? Okay, here we go. Also on the 4th, Neptune retrogrades in Aries. While we might dream of grand victories and daring adventures, Neptune going retrograde calls us back to reality. Take this time to look before you leap and think carefully before taking action. Receptive. Do less. Thank you. On the 6th, Venus and Gemini sextile Saturn and Aries. Get ready to feel the love today, as this committed aspect encourages us to look for companionship and feel love. This is not a one-night stand. Companionship. It didn't say relationship. It didn't say that. It said companionship. You know, the definition of companion. The definition of companionship, it says a feeling of fellowship and friendship. It's a noun. People, place, or thing. Okay? Also on that day, Venus in Gemini sextiles Neptune in Aries. This aspect serves as a muse, providing us with the creative energy and imagination needed to produce amazing art. Follow your passion today. It can lead to something truly beautiful. What did I say? The energy is very sensual, it's very creative. Found your outlet. What are you doing? You're trying to make shit happen. It ain't finna happen. I promise you it's not gonna happen. On July 7th, Uranus enters Gemini. Although it will only be here for a few months this year, we are witnessing the beginning of a new era this summer. With the planet of freedom and originality in this adaptable air sign, expect sudden changes that could lead to revolutions and revelations. Venus in Gemini trines Pluto in Aquarius. As the temperature rises, so do your passions. Intellectually stimulating conversations can lead to an intimate exchange of ideas. It's a great day for witty banter, playful debates, and sharing information that fosters deeper connections. Thank you. Thank you. Every aspect that's happening, every transit that's happening astrologically is a reflection of how you're going to nurture yourself. Thank you. Drops mic. Everybody have a beautiful night. Literally. I love when we can have chats like this and it's just the truth. And it just flows. Like, you know, you can explain it thoroughly. Like, yes, this is what we're doing. You don't got to find this shit. It's going to find you. The resources, they find you. Trust me. Oh, trust me. You wouldn't even thinking about that shit. You ain't, but the shit gonna find you. Shit gonna find you. It's gonna set it up. All you gotta do is sit there and receive it. All you gotta do is look beautiful. All you gotta do is feel smart. All you gotta do is smell good. All you gotta do is feel you love yourself. That's all you gotta do. You don't gotta do too much. I promise you. Cancers love to be taken care of. They love it. Learn your love language. And there are 5 love languages, right? Within those 5 love languages, there's a specific way you want to receive love. There's a specific way you want to. Example. Y'all know I'm just going to keep it above with y'all. One of my love languages is gifts. I don't really care about the actual physical gift. Just give me the money. Physical touch is one of my love languages. It's not about the sex. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to be touched. Like, with permission given. It's intimate. I told you I be rubbing on myself. I be rubbing on my feet, rubbing on my legs. I like to rub on my knees. You know what I'm saying? I like to touch my face. You know what I'm saying? Rub my hands. I like to rub my rings around. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you need to find the specifics of your love languages and then you need to do it for self. I just take cash out. Anytime I be feeling a little bit like generous and I'm feeling on a trick, I just take cash out. Put some cash in my wallet just so I can have it. Words of affirmations. I don't want to just hear me say you are beautiful, you are this. No, I like to sing songs that represent the energy that I'm embodying. I don't want to just write down I am love, I am love, I am love, I am love. What the fuck out of here? What the fuck is that about? I mean, if you do like that, no shade. But I'm not finna do that shit. That's not how I receive love. You're basically talking gibberish to me. I'm not stimulated by that. I'm stimulated by the song that I channeled, that I'm now playing, and I'm cooking to it, and I'm cleaning to it, and I'm getting ready to it. That's stimulating to me. So you need to find the specifics of your love language and do it for yourself. Don't just be like, oh, my love language is quality time. Now you sitting in a room looking fucking crazy. What if the quality time was you crocheting or you drawing? You know what I'm saying? You over here just sitting in a room or walking around the world. You're not stimulated by that. Find out how you are going to be stimulated in these times. Okay? I gotta go. I'll be back. I'll be back on, I think I'm going to do one Sunday. Oh, because we got to do July's wisdom. Yeah, I'll be back Sunday so we can talk about July. Since I've already read the astrological events, but we're going to talk about July's wisdom. I feel like I should go back and watch June's wisdom and see what the fuck actually transpired. I might just do that right now, but all right, y'all. Hype me up. You the one. Okay, let's see. June's wisdom. They had black ancestors in there. They had, it was like Hispanic. Okay, bye, I love you. Whatever name. It was